Hi everyone, and welcome back to CreativeChelsey. Today is our first video of Paper Pumpkin Week, and I'm really excited about my alternative card that I've come up with, but I want to just look at the original project. So it's this really cute treat bag and a card. And the month's kit is called I'll Be Yours, and it's January 2020. So I did a sneak peek video and opened the box live on YouTube, and we made the card. And I love how simple it is, and I love that it's small and you can just attach it to a treat or a plate of cookies. And then we also made the treat bag, and I love the size. The size is really nice. It's perfect for a gift card or even just a larger treat inside, or even just a couple small ones as well. And this tag is super cute with the bees and the shiny little flower embellishments. And then this side of the bag, on both the front and the back, is embossed with this beautiful shiny mint macaron color. So I love that. So the original projects are really fun, and so you should go ahead and give them a try. But it does come with a lot. So there's a lot of leftovers if you don't make everything. And so I came up with this alternative card, and I really, really love it. I think it's a perfect, elegant card, especially with the sentiment, wishing you a lifetime of love. So you could give this away as a wedding card or an anniversary card. So let's go ahead and make this card. Don't forget to sign up to receive your Paper Pumpkin Kit. Next month, February 2020, you'll be receiving a project that coordinates with the Happy Birthday to You stamp set found in the Celebration catalog. And you can get this stamp set for free with a $50 order. So contact me if you have questions and are interested in getting this stamp set. And then the Paper Pumpkin Kit coordinates with it, and it's going to be beautiful. And so make sure to sign up before the 10th of February to get this kit. And the link for that is below in the description box. All right, so this card starts with one of the little bags. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a paper trimmer, and you're going to trim off just like a 1/16 inch, the smallest size you can, on both the right and the left side. Okay. So then we're going to open it up, and you can see that we are getting that beautiful shape, that kind of triangular shape of those flowers. And we're going to now trim it. So we're going to trim it so that it fits the entire length of the card, and so that's 5.5 inches. So we're going to put this fold line at 2 3/4 and trim, and then you do the same thing, 2 3/4 or 5.5 on the edge here, and then trim again. Whoops. It's caught a little bit, so I'm just going to trim it down just a little bit smaller so I can have a nice clean cut, because you can see here that it cut at an angle because it caught on the back here. And that's okay to have a little bit of a border at the top or bottom. Okay, so we've got that piece, and then the only other pieces we need from the kit would be one of the hearts. And you can choose any heart because we're going to actually stamp on the back. And then from your own stash, you need to have a card base. And I decided to do a vertical card. And so this is cut at 4 1/4, and then it's 11 inches and scored at 5.5. And I'm using the thick Whisper White cardstock. I really like that paper for my card bases. And then we're using a mint macaron, and this is just a, I think it's 2.5 inches by 4 inches. And we're going to cut it out with one of the stitched nested label dies. And I number my dies and I started with number 1 being the smallest. So, and I think there are 8 total, so this is almost in the middle somewhere. It makes about a 3 1/4 by 1 3/4 inch label. So you can go ahead and try to find that one. So we're going to cut that out with the Big Shot, and then you need to have a 1/2 inch strip that is 5 1/2 inches long, and this is in crushed curry. And lastly, from the kit or from your stash, whatever you have, is some white baker's twine, and this is 16 inches long. So it doesn't take too many pieces, so that's a really nice thing. And so we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and cut this out at the Big Shot, and I will be back. Okay, so we've cut that out. So let's go ahead and start assembling our card. Let's begin by placing this beautiful design on our card base. And I'm just adding some snail. And then we want it to go right up to that edge on the right. And there we go. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to add the crushed curry piece here. And we're just going to add it so it barely covers that edge. That edge is really raw, and so I wanted to cover it up so that it doesn't feel super raw. It kind of adds like a transition piece. So just place it so it's just barely covering that seam or the edge. Okay, so next let's do our stamping. So I think one thing that I did that really brought this card up a level is I embossed all my stamping with clear embossed powder, and that just kind of lends to the shininess of the design on the gift bags, because that's shiny, and so I didn't want my elements to not be as beautiful as this background paper. And so I'm going to show you how you can get color with your clear embossed powder, because we're using regular classic Stampin' Pads and not Versamark or a like a craft ink. So I'm gonna show you how to do that with clear embossed powder. So let's start with the Wishing You a Lifetime of Love. Okay, so I'm going to use a little embossing putty down here at the bottom just to remove any static. And it's important we have all of our supplies near us when we're using just regular classic ink. So I've got a tray with some clear embossing powder in it already, and I've got my heat tool nearby as well. And so I've got my stamp, and I'm using the Wishing You a Lifetime of Love, and that comes from the stamp that came in the Paper Pumpkin kit. And I love this stamp set. One, I think it's a really good size stamp set. It has a lot of stamps that are included in it. And then they've got some bigger images and some smaller ones, and then some really great greetings and sentiments that are perfect for any time of year and any occasion. Okay, so you're going to ink it up and get a lot of ink on there. And then we're going to stamp it, and we're adding it to the bottom left corner. And then as soon as we remove the stamp, it needs to go into the powder. Okay, and because it's wet, so the ink is wet right as we're done stamping it, then the powder is able to hold on to that wet ink. So now we're going to heat emboss it with our heat tool. And you could see that when it melted, you just get this really dark, rich color. And you can see that it's a little bit on that shiny side, so it's going to go beautifully with that background look. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to do the same thing to our heart. Now, because I'm doing the whole image, I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper, and this is just from the gift bag. And I'm just going to add that to the back. Now, it's a good thing it's really thin, so I wouldn't want to use like a really thick piece of cardstock because I'm going to stamp on this, and a thick piece of cardstock probably would show a little bit on my stamping. So this is pretty thin, so I'm not too worried about it ruining my stamped image. And I'm going to get crushed curry. And I've got my large floral stamp. Now, I've been using this a lot in the last couple days, and I've done it with black ink. And so my black ink has stained my image. But that's fine. It should work just perfectly, even if it's stained. All right, so I've inked it up really well, and I'm just going to make sure I've got my powder nearby and just go ahead and stamp all over that heart. Okay, remove it and then place it directly into the powder. Get it all over. And I wasn't too worried about the heart and the static. So move your stamp or your ink and your powder to the side and then heat emboss it with your heat tool. Okay, so I just love how this turns out. I just love the color, especially with the mint macaron, and I love the shiny detail. All right, so we've done all our stamping, and now we can finish our card with these other elements. All right, so the next thing we do is we're going to add this to our card. Just put some snail or glue on it. And so this is our center, and we're going to cover up this fold with our twine. And so we want that center line to just go right above our greeting. Okay, and I left a little border here on the left, and so it doesn't really matter where those points end up. This one is on the left, and this one is more on the right. So that is totally just however it happens. Let's next go ahead and take the 16 inches of twine and tie a bow. And I always do a bow with a knot when I'm working with twine. It just makes it easier for my fingers. Okay, and then I can trim this one on this side. Okay, and I'll move that once I have my heart in the right place. So I'm going to go ahead and add this heart at an angle with some dimensionals. And the kit does come with some little mini dimensionals. And I'm going to try to squeeze one here down at the bottom, but I'm going to do it really close to that edge so that I can just put it just on the other side of that twine, and hopefully it won't cover up my greeting too much. Okay. And then I can rotate or bring my twine so that it comes really close to that heart. All right, so that card is done. I think this card is elegant and beautiful and very simple to create. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, and share. Visit CreativeChelsey.com for more information about Paper Pumpkin and to start getting your monthly kit. Have a creative day. Bye.